everyone. Welcome back to Build. I'm your host, Brittany Jones Cooper, and today I'm sitting down with Kirsten Dunst. Her new show on becoming a god in Central Florida is a dark comedy where she plays Crystal Stubbs, a former pageant queen and water park employee who cons her way up the ranks of the billion-dollar pyramid scheme that ruined her family. Take a look.
This is your money?
Yes. Yes, this is my money. I have so much faith in what you can do in fam, Crystal. Soon you'll be able to write checks this big, no problem.
Make it twice as big.
No, these are the biggest they had. Oh, well, I mean, I did the math, and this is the right amount for maintaining your downline, so.
Give me double, and I'll grow it.
You'd recruit?
I can recruit.
Wow! Great. Great.
Put your hands together for Kirsten Dunst.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm great.
I'm so excited to be sitting across from you. I've been just a huge fan of yours for so long, and I got to watch the first 2 episodes of this, and I wanted to watch more, which for me is such a good sign.
For me, it is as well. Thank
You're like,
you.
when something is binge-worthy, you're like, oh, God, I just can't wait. Because I can already see how each episode we are just going to pull back a layer, and I feel like it's going to get deeper and darker and weirder.
Yeah, it definitely gets weird.
Yeah.
And also, we have different directors. Obviously, it's television for each episode. But I think the Daniels, who did Swiss Army Man, they did a particularly surreal episode, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The tone is so unique, and I think with dark comedies, sometimes it's hard to get that balance, and this show just does it. So is that what attracted you to the script in the first place? Just the writing seems to be really on point.
Yeah, the writing was, I read television, film, offers, anything, and this was just the best thing I'd read. I was like, this is too good. It's so weird. It's right up my alley. But it felt grounded too, even though it was, a little heightened. And I also had never really read anything about multi-level marketing schemes, and I wasn't really that aware of that world. So for me, I just found it really fascinating, and I hadn't seen anything about that.
See, it rang very true for me. I have a couple of family members who participated in several pyramid schemes in the 90s and early 2000s.
Like what?
Oh, there was one called like
Amway?
Manitech that was like these vitamins and stuff.
Whoa.
There was like a couple. I won't call them out by name, but you know who you are. So it's an interesting world to dig into because it is so layered and there's so many emotions in these pyramid schemes, and it really affects the family.
Yeah, people put all their money into these things and they're left with nothing. It's really heartbreaking and it destroys lives. So this was, it's basically about that.
Yeah. So I know that you are a producer on this and an executive producer on this project, and there were a lot of kind of different jumps or hoops you guys had to jump through to get it made. So can you take me through that journey of it, where it started and then where we ended up?
Sure. These mics are heavy, by the way.
I know. That's why I've got biceps on this.
They're kind of heavy, guys.
I have biceps on just one arm.
I'm going to use 2 hands. So we started out, I guess, I was doing Hidden Figures when I got the offer for this show, and that was about 4 years ago now. And so it was at AMC for a minute, and then they changed hands, and it just sat there. And then we eventually ended up on YouTube after like a producer left, and it was just like a long thing. I had a baby and everything, so it was like I definitely almost didn't do this multiple times, even in the last stretch, like a few months before. Because once you have a kid, you're like in this weird bubble and you're just like, I don't know how to function in the world anymore, And then I just couldn't let it go. It was that good, so.
You mentioned having the baby, but Crystal's also a new mom.
Mm-hmm.
So did that help you sort of connect to her or get into her mind state a little easier because you were kind of going through similar experiences as a mother?
Mm-hmm. For me, having a kid just makes you kind of be like, fuck it all. You know what I mean? You're just like, it's just, you just live life differently. And you act different. Like, you just don't care as much. and it's really freeing. So for me, playing Crystal was just a whole new level of a different way of working that I hadn't experienced. And she's such a balls out character as well. So for me, like, even if I was exhausted or like didn't want to be there or whatever it is, like I was crying to my mother-in-law 2 weeks in, I don't know if I can do this. It's way too much work. Because it was the hardest gig I'd ever done, like not having a child. So being the lead of a television show is very tiring. Movies are like 100% easier to do. Yeah, you prepare one piece of material, and that's it. You just go make it. And this is every week. Here's some new material and spray tans every Sunday and getting your nails done. And it's just like you all day, every day. Like 13-hour days, 14-hour days, like just, it's a wheel for 6 months.
Yeah, and I know you started 6 months after having your baby, and then you have to go on set, and this baby, TV baby's in a lot of scenes.
Yes.
So, I mean, were you ever just like, can I just not be a mom here? Like, Jesus.
No, I mean, they have their moms, so it's fine. And we had like dummy babies, you know, and things like that. Just, you know, carry, you know, whatever. We had a stroller or a little car seat, or we faked it a lot, obviously, because you can't work babies that long. You get minor time frames. But what did help for me was like, I know that babies love to play with any trash. Like I wouldn't know that if I, like your card or your microphone, if I was on set, I was like, here you go. Like, they're so happy. You know what I mean? But if I wasn't a mom, I just wouldn't know things like that. So I could incorporate like
the paper towel roll.
all the yeah, I could incorporate all the normal things that I know into this show.
Let's talk about Crystal. First of all, do you miss the hair? Do you miss getting to do that every day?
There's a good cobra. Sometimes her cobra's a little more extended than other times. Yeah.
I can tell when she's really feeling herself, when she's really
It's
got
like
feathered.
really she got the swoop going.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cobra look is that snake,
Yeah.
for anyone who doesn't know.
I do love her because she just seems to be so authentically rooted in who she is. There's a scene where she's on a four-wheeler with the baby strapped on, smoking a cigarette.
Yes.
And she just like doesn't give any fucks. And it just, it makes you love her so much because you can see that she's just surviving and doing what she has to do and like really doesn't care that much about what other people think about her.
Yes. Yes.
Is that how you describe her?
You're right. But also she's also in survival mode too. So it's like that moment on the ATV is like one of her like, I did it. I got a vehicle so I can drive around because I have no car. You know what I mean? Like it's not, everything Crystal does is for her own survival for her and her daughter. And she's constantly getting knocked down and then she'll get a little success, but it's, you know, always like a struggle for her. Yeah.
What helped you get into Crystal? Was it the wardrobe? Was it the braces, the hair? Was it a certain storyline? Like, what is it that really helped you connect to her?
I work with someone privately, so like my acting lady and I, it's kind of like making a little witch's brew of a character. So that could come like a piece of music, an inspiration from a show, whatever it is. It's like a lot of things, and also including yourself, obviously. So it feels like a little bit like therapy at the end of the day. So I did that also. That's why it's harder too, because you do it for every episode. Like if you do a movie, you just do it once, done. But yeah, my weekends were dedicated to work, a lot of work. But yeah, but then creating the character, the hair, the look, the makeup, it's all part of, you know, making this character real, and also a character that you look at and you like giggle a little bit at too, you know?
I want to know, what were the conversations about what her wardrobe should be and where she was kind of like socioeconomically and how that kind of compared to the people who are higher up in the pyramid scheme? I mean, all of those little details are in there.
You're right, yeah. Stacey Patat, who I did The Beguiled with, who works with Sophia Coppola a lot, she's a friend of mine, and she was available to do the show, so I was like, please do the show, because, you know, I also didn't want to be alone. It's nice to have a girlfriend on set, you know, just to complain about people with, that has your back, you know what I mean? So I had that, but Stacey's so talented, and we just wanted to make sure she didn't have like a ton of clothes. I recycle clothes. I like make new outfits with my same 3 outfits. And also because the 90s are so popular now, we stayed away from any trends that are cool right now. Like I didn't ever wear a scrunchie, like things that are just hip.
Too obvious.
Yeah, hip right now, yeah. Like I didn't do a single hoop. I did like a weird double hoop. You know what I mean? Like that was, yeah, there's a double hoop there.
I also just love the like Lisa Frank inspired jean jacket.
Oh yeah, Stacey made this with her.
Did she really?
Yeah, she added those little details.
Those little details are just what makes it work.
Yeah.
I love that. She's
Braces, it's all there.
The relationship with the braces is also very funny. You guys will see. It's great. There's a lot of great scenes. I won't give anything away, but there is a scene with puppets that is very memorable.
Thank
and I
you.
think that,
It's a weird story how that happened.
yeah, can we talk about that?
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, forever in the second episode, it was written as a snake dance, like a little like
Like a Britney Spears.
exactly Selma Hayek kind of like. And I was like, I'm petrified of snakes. There's no way I'm doing a snake dance. I told them that as soon as I read it. I'm like, not happening, not happening. Better get a fake snake. Better get a body double. Warned them far, 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 far in advance. But what do men do? They just wait. Till it's like a week before we're shooting it. And the second director comes on and he's like, well, this won't look good unless we use a real snake. I can't shoot around it. And so Robert, our writer, on like Friday, we're shooting this on a Tuesday, was like, sent me this YouTube link. I was like, what the hell is this? It's a guy in the street with two puppets attached to either side of him, like dancing with these puppets. I was like, haha, like, what? Why is he saying this? He's like, what if Crystal's snake dance was a puppet dance? I was like, thank you. I'm like, I'll take anything. I was like, sure, puppet dance. So his friend and him, like, went to Home Depot or whatever, hardware store, made this rig, which is very hard. And, like, it has to be the right body length. Like, we needed a puppeteer to come help us. And then, I mean, by the time it all worked out, I rehearsed a little bit on a Sunday. And then I had, like, a choreographer off camera for me because we were basically making it up as we went. Because television, it just moves. Like, even I have this whole water park thing where I'm a choreographer. And, like, kind of like it's called splasher size, so it's like a workout. And also, day of, I'm like, let's just make this up. And then I had this choreographer girl I really liked. She'd be over there. I was like, okay, we're doing this now. Okay, we're doing it. Like, it was just kind of on the fly. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what did you crack up? I was laughing that entire time because the thing about this show is that the tone can be so kind of like heightened and silly, but it's performed with such seriousness that it makes it even funnier because, I mean, Crystal was really serious about these puppets.
Well, you know what's weird? The first time I saw his Robert's friend, the writer's friend, do the dance, it kind of made me teary-eyed because I was like, God, Crystal tries so hard. It's so sad to see someone dance alone with these two puppets. So to me, it was like weirdly heartbreaking because like it's just so lonely looking, you know? I don't know. And also, comedy is only funny when you play it straight. I mean, you have to play everything real in order for anyone to like see the humor and stuff. You can't be in on it, you know?
Now I want to go rewatch that scene because I was thinking like, well, she was a beauty queen, so this is like
It is. It's her
zone.
beauty queen, but
Watching with that lens would be interesting though.
it's kind of sad. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's dark.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome, everyone. Happy, what day is it today? Thursday. Happy Thursday.
As I mentioned before, I've been a fan of yours, and I want to know, what age did you get your like SAG card?
Whoa. Well, I've been coming to this city since I was 3 to do commercials and modeling. I used to ask my mom to drive through the meatpacking district so I could see the hookies. Okay? Now there's not a bad part of New York City.
Sorry, I'm still laughing at hookies.
That's what I'd say. I was like,
Like the cutest, saddest thing.
hookies? I don't know. Because we'd go there to go get to the tunnel. So we would, to avoid traffic, we'd go through that way sometimes. So yeah, I probably got my SAG card. I was doing commercials, I don't know, 4 or 5, I don't know. Yeah.
And you post some pretty good throwback Thursdays on your Instagram.
Thank you. I'm kind of bad at Instagram.
It's okay.
I really try.
It's so hard to be good at Instagram. It's better just to be fine at it.
Well, because I'm not sure. I'm come from an old school mentality where you're like, don't want to give too much away because I think it ruins like the mystique of the people playing roles and stuff. And also, you really want to see my kid? I don't know. It's like, what if my kid grows up and they're like, I hate you, Mom. Why'd you put me all over Instagram?
I think that's fair, and I think a lot of parents are going to have to deal with that conversation in like 15 years.
Yeah, because I'd be pissed at my mom. Because kids find any reason to be pissed at their parents. Yeah. So just avoid all of the things you can.
Especially when you see like the bath time photos on Instagram, you're like, stop it right now. Like that kid's not going to like that.
Also, what if you have some creeps that are like, whatever. Yeah. The world's weird.
The world is very weird. You heard it here first, guys. But I mentioned the throwbacks because you do sort of throw back to these, different jobs that you've had. And I wonder, like, when you look back at your career, is there a moment that you really, or a phase in your career that you just really enjoyed or look back and you're like, that was a great time?
I think when you get older, you have like a kinder vision of your life and yourself. Like I look back and be like, oh wow, look at me and Jason Schwartzman and our little Marie Antoinette gear. We're so cute. You know what I mean? Like I look back with fondness and yeah, good memories, no matter what turmoil or 20-year-old stuff I was going through in my head. Now with some perspective, I can enjoy the past a little more, you know?
Is there, because I know as fans, there's a lot of roles that we say define you, but for you, is there a role that you really feel like portrays like who you are as an actor?
I don't know who I guess not who I am as an actor, but I definitely think there's been transitions for me that have helped me along the way. Like, I feel like Virgin Suicides was a huge deal for me because it was that first, you know, I got to be beautiful, but of substance in a movie, but I was taken care of because it was Sophia, female filmmaker.
Remix.
I'm tired, guys. So that was a transition that I think was a very important one for me in my career. And but then like Bring It On was like a great surprise. We made that movie. Universal was like, okay, go make your dumb little cheerleading movie. And then look what happened. It was like, you know, so you never know. So those moments I remember with like real fondness and yeah.
It does seem to me, though, that you always choose these roles that are just so specific, and I feel like only you can do. Like,
That's
I don't.
nice.
Yeah, you do bring, I think, a lot to these women on screen. They're very unique, dynamic women. How, do you? You must put a lot of thought into the roles that you choose. It seems very intentional.
Well,
That
like
makes sense.
a lot of things that I read or just feel like very much through the male gaze, and you know, people around me be like, "Oh, but this role, it's like this, this, and this." I'm like, it literally just functions for him, and I can't stand it. And if I do this, I'm gonna be so angry. So it's like I think I just find things that appeal to me, and it's my taste and my intuition, and I just follow my gut really, and what I want to see as an actress as well. Like this seemed very unique to me, and I knew I would have fun creating this part.
It's interesting you say that because I do love that she has this loving husband, but it is not about him. It really is about her and her growth and her evolution. With that said, Alexander Skarsgård plays your husband, and he is so committed to this role.
I
When he
know.
says "Go getters, go get," it's just like with so much enthusiasm.
Well, I hired Alex for this role. We had done a film called Melancholia together, and he was just. I just knew he was a very goofy Swede.
So goofy.
Like he's just Swedes they have that little weird. I can say that because I have a little in me too. But like he's just a goofy guy, and I knew that he would have so much fun doing this because he doesn't really have the opportunity to play these roles that often. So I knew he'd be committed, and yeah, he had the best time. He was kind of sad to leave us.
That's the thing. Like I think most recently I saw him in Big Little Lies, and then you see him having so much fun in this. You're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
he's so goofy, and also such a skilled dramatic actor. I mean,
Yeah, well, he comes from like acting royalty, Stellan Skarsgård, so he's got to have some of that in him.
and I want to ask really quickly about Little Women. We were actually talking about it today, and they're bringing it back. You know, and I'm just wondering when movies that you were part of are remade. Do you check them out, or do you just sort of like let them live on their own?
I saw Jumanji.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one I did see. I was like in Austin, Texas, and they have this place called Draft House, and you can like eat fried pickles, chill out. And my brother was in town. We were just like, let's go see that. So yeah, it's very flattering. I mean, I guess I chose well as a kid because everyone's remaking the movies that I was a part of. Hey.
Little Women is so iconic, and I would have been nervous, but Greta Gerwig is very capable, so I'm excited to see.
Oh
what she
yeah,
does with
it looks very classy, and I love Saoirse Ronan. She's one of my favorite young actresses.
Fantastic. Well, before we go, we do have a couple of questions. The first one, right there.
Hi, Kirsten. Michael
Hi.
David. You've been working in the industry literally since you were a little girl. So, like, you know, and you've been in so many amazing movies. Has there been any that have, like, stuck out to you where the filming experience or maybe the actors were just, you know, a little bit more tight-knit or just something that you remember extra?
Of recently, Fargo season 2. Because I, you know, met my husband, had a kid. So it's like that actually, you know, that stuck out the most to me in my mind. Yeah, that role was also just written so well and such a fun role to play. So for me as an actress, it was, yeah, it definitely led me to wanting to do more television.
You were so good in that role.
Thank you.
Really, truly.
Thank you.
Also, you said husband. Did you guys get married?
I say that. I mean, what am I gonna say? I like to say my fiance, like raising Arizona. I mean, we have a kid. I mean, yeah, it's like, yeah.
Like you're locked in.
Yeah, we're done.
That's all it takes. Fair. Next one.
Hi, Kirsten. My name's
Hi.
Markel. I'm such a big fan.
Thank you.
You have a huge library of great work, and I was just wondering if you got a chance to, either as a director or as an actress, are there any projects that you've been in before that you would love to revisit?
Oh, like revisit the character or just the experience or anything?
Yeah, like direct a Jumanji or something. You know.
Like I would direct
Like
a
you
mom?
could go back in a different role even. Yeah.
Ah, interesting. Good question. I think, maybe,
Do you even remember all the things you were a part of?
yeah. Come on now.
Vampire?
No, I did think of Interview with the Vampire, actually. I was like, maybe I'd want to play Tom Cruise's role or Brad Pitt's role. I don't know. It'd be kind of fun to play a male, like, yeah, maybe Interview with the Vampire. Also, they just don't make movies like that anymore. The costumes, the budget. We were flying from London to Paris to New Orleans to San Francisco. It was like, that was a movie. Like, they don't make movies anymore. I mean, Quentin Tarantino does, but and Paul Thomas Anderson. I really can't think of anyone else. Like, they make movies still.
Yeah. I would like to see you in that role though. Can you like mix
Brad
it up?
or Tom.
Or just
I'll
play both.
Yeah.
Just play both. And last one.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? For your latest role, in today's society, she seems like somebody who would like pop off on like internet culture or maybe reality TV.
Yeah.
So even though it's like the 90s, did that influence your performance?
I did as like a fun, when I was getting like a little bit bored or tired on set, because everybody does, I'd be like, okay, this next take, think of Honey Boo Boo. So I would just like sometimes think of other little fun characters in the zeitgeist of what I imagine Crystal to kind of behave like. So she was one of them, and then sometimes Toddlers and Tiaras would come to mind as well. So I have like fun little things or like songs. I can't think of a song right now. Oh, you know what? The Angel of the Morning song by Juice Newton. That was a good Crystal anthem. Dolly Parton, big influence for Crystal, especially hopefully if we get a second season. Yeah. Thank you.
Speaking of influences, how did you get that accent down?
Worked with a dialect coach. Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what's funny, actually? She gave me a bunch of samples from Florida, and they were all the ones I liked. 3 of the girls were named Crystal. So that was really funny. I was like, the crystal number, the second crystal you sent me, because my character's name is Crystal as well. Yeah.
Is there a word though that really helps you kind of like fall into character?
A word?
Yeah, because I know like whenever I'm pretending to do a Boston accent, I'll be like "caw" or like whatever. Like, is there a word that once you got it, you're like, oh, I get the tone of the accent?
No. You know what helped me though a little bit were the braces. There's something about it that helped me form the way Crystal spoke.
Interesting. Guys, I can't wait for you to see this show.
Me too, guys.
Yeah, it really is. It was such a breath of fresh air because it is so solid. You can tell the writing is solid, but then it is so surreal and does these weird things, and it kind of catches you off guard so often that you can't help but to want more.
Good.
So congrats.
Thank
you guys
you.
did a great job.
Thank
And if
you.
you guys want to check it out, On Becoming a God in Central Florida premieres August 25th at 10 p.m. on Showtime. Put your hands together for Kirsten.
Thank you. Thank you for interviewing me.